Jim, my friend, how are you? It's a pleasure to be back here. Always enjoy my time here. It's not as if these guys need an introduction from me, but they're bloody going to get one anyway. Because, I mean, we're lucky, aren't we? We've got 3 of the entertainers here, and for me that was a very, very special time in Newcastle's history, because they were literally what they said they were. What they said on the label, they were entertainers. And Newcastle finished runners-up in the Premier League 2 successive seasons, which is quite something. All 3 were members of that valued and valuable squad. 2 of the guys were local lads that made it all the way through. First of the local lads, he was 9 years a first teamer, 263 games, 14 goals, 12 England under-21 caps, now an academy coach at Newcastle, as well as being manager of Don, Steve Watson. Let's go back in, by the way, the England centre-half, Premier League runners-up twice, FACup finalist of Wembley, Steve, how are you, ladies and gentlemen? And also the one that we bought in, and he was very much worth buying in, part of a terrific recruitment programme that KK had. Hopefully Newcastle United's recruitment now is starting to be as good, and has been a good. Let's have another fucking recruitment this summer. Right. But we'll get onto that. This fellow was bought in, he 232 games, 8 goals, First Division champion 1993, Premier League winner 96-97, England B caps, made the England squad, John Beresford.
Go back to the
Can't argue with that. He usually puts little on it. Yeah. You're getting nice on your old age, aren't you?
And just for the record, I contributed absolutely fuck all to the entertainment side, but I thoroughly enjoyed watching from the outside, and you know what was good? I didn't have to fucking criticise. It wasn't like the Ashley years where, honestly, I'm only 21, I got looking like this through the Ashley years, but never mind, they've gone.
Oh, plus you weren't Alan Over.
I was...
Alan, you weren't Alan Over either.
You've got to be grateful for certain things, mate, and I am grateful for that. I wasn't Alan Over, that's absolutely correct. No, nothing against Alan, good lad, good lad. What I hope we can start with you, because your reputation, you played in the very first Kevin Keegan match as manager, and you played in the last. And as far as I can make out, that's a record, isn't it? Somebody that played in the first and in the last.
Yeah, it's another one of my pointless records. But, no, it was obviously I lived the dream. I came through when I was 16. Luckily, still holding on to that record by the skin of my teeth. I think obviously the way Louis came into the side in his Champions League in the first season was absolutely phenomenal. Obviously, that I couldn't have got near that at that age. So. But no, I had a great start, and then obviously I brought up in Wallsend, so watching the 83 I just seen one of those shirts. I just didn't know I've got that shirt. I love that. My favourite shirt, the Keegan shirt, the NUFC shirt, the going up era. So that was my team. So just having Kevin announced as manager was just a meeting was enough for me, but to play under him was a different thing. But a week's a long time in football. I've told this story before. You know, the last week of the last game that Ozzy was manager, he pulled us in and he said, "Listen, it's going to be a really tough end of the season. So we're probably going to go with experience, see if we can get out of this mess. So you probably won't be involved again till the end of the season." And that was the Saturday at Oxford, I think. Kevin came in, started against Bristol. So just shows he did it, like, opinions and football, and then had obviously the best football time in your life after that.
And I mean, the interesting thing, Steve, was that Ozzy had been a great supporter of the kids, hadn't he? And thinking of yourself and Lee Clark and Robbie Elliott and Steve. He was a great supporter of hometown, and got accused perhaps a little bit of saying you need a side with experience if you're going to stay up, because he you know, he lost what, that last game at Oxford was 5-3, 5-2, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, we loved him, and I think Kevin inherited a group of players that Ozzy had helped massively. So, you know, all the success of Steve and Rob Elliott and Lee Clark and yourself and Tomo and Lee Makel, you know, David Roach, people that were in and around the first team, Ozzy helped us massively. Don't think it gets mentioned enough, but I think the fact that we had 5 or 6 young North East players in and around the team, Ozzy probably needs recognition for that. But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, you know, we were naive. We didn't, we couldn't hold on to a lead. We were very sort of front foot thinking, very blasé about the way we played. So now something needed to be done. And funny enough, the way Kevin came in and stopped the rot was actually the opposite of what Kevin ended up playing like anyway. But thank fuck he did. He came in and done the job, didn't he?
I mean, Ozzy's not going to get remembered and get credit for picking kids and nearly fucking going down as a consequence, is he? I mean, he's not going to get too much applause.
Do you want to reword that?
What, leaving out the F word, I said he did. You know, we almost went to third division, for goodness sake.
I know. No, he's not, but if you're asking me as a player, you ask Steve as a player.
Oh, absolutely.
You ask Nash as a player.
Yeah.
You ask Gavin Peacock, you ask David Kelly, you know, we all loved him, but we understand football. It needed changing.
How much of a shock was it, Steve, when you heard, because it all happened within half an hour? I mean, I was up at St James's Park and they had Kevin Keegan in a little room ready to go with the booze to be unveiled as a manager, while the Rottweiler was up sacking Ozzy at Ozzy's house.
You wouldn't have thought twice about that either, would you?
Oh, he looked at it.
That was his hobby.
Ozzy actually made him breakfast after he got the sack. He asked him if he made him bacon and eggs.
How can you not love him?
Bacon and eggs and a cup of coffee after he got him sacked. And Fletcher asked him if he would leave the curtain. He was living in a clubhouse. And Fletcher asked him if he'd leave the curtains up because he liked the curtains, because Fletcher was going to move in the clubhouse after Ozzy left. So, I mean, that's the definition of audacity here. But how did you find out Keegan had the job?
Just as quick as you said. There's no phones back then. There was no internet. It was simple as, you know, getting told. I can't remember who actually told us. Colin Suggett and Colin Suggett sort of took over and Faz was already there. That'd be right. Yes, Faz was there. You know what? Like, what gets forgotten about the Kevin era is like it was a really bold decision from the chairman, from John Hall, from Freddie. You know, like we were on the verge of going down, and you hire a player who was a legend but had never managed. He'd been doing golf in Marbella 5 days a week. It was a massive decision, really, and what a decision it turned out to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Steve, if I can ask you to come in here, and before we go on about that amazing takeover, can we clear one thing up, because a lot of fans talk to me and say, right, who gets the credit for you converting from centre forward in the first team, I know he didn't come as a centre forward, to centre half? Was it KK or was it Ozzy?
Absolutely, initially it was Ozzy.
Yes.
But the person who nurtured that was Kevin, because Ozzy didn't have the chance to nurture it, because we used to have like 5 sides at the end of training sessions and stuff like that, and I used to just play at the back. I was never ever in my school years a centre forward.
No.
I was an attacking midfield player, I would score goals. I was doing that with Lee Clark, his nickname was Nash, so me and Nash would score goals in the youth team. Same in the resis, the reserves. And it was just one of those things where in our training sessions, because of what I was just mentioned, you know, so many young kids, I used to just like kind of play it back with these old pros. And I have to be honest, it was a lot easier playing at the back than it was playing in the field and having your back to goal, or, you know, having your head on the swivel and all that kind of thing. Because everything faces you. Pretty simple. Well, it's not simple, but it's easy.
Anything but, yes.
And basically also sort of said, have you ever thought about playing at the back? And I was like, well, no. So we had a couple of games behind closed doors and I was absolutely horrendous. And then obviously Kevin came in because Ozzy had sort of said the next game you're going to play centre half, and I was like, I've never played centre half before. You're going to play. I was like, oh, okay. I was delighted, in all fairness, in some respects, because Ozzy got sacked, because I was like, I just wasn't ready. And then Kevin came in, and we had a couple of games. We had 3 games behind closed doors. One was the centre forward, one was a midfield player, one was the centre half. And he went, you've got an option here. I'm going to do something amazing with this club. I think you can be part of it, but as a centre half. Not as a midfield player, because I'm going to bring people in, and certainly not as a centre forward, because I'm going to bring other people in. It's up to you what you want to do. You know, go back, speak to your wife, speak to your parents and all that kind of thing. I went, don't have to, I mean, and it just went so, you know, massively unbelievable. It was ridiculous, to the point where, with, you know, there's not very many people that can turn around and go, I've changed my career, and then you reach the pinnacle, and the pinnacle is playing for your country.
Yeah, I mean, there's people, there's Newcastle fans today said to go, when, you know, when you look back, was what happened with Steve Howe anything like what happened with Joe Linton, who was a centre forward and moved into
Wasn't that fucking bad?
By the way, I saw Joe Linton.
You never fucking played up there, were you? Just checking out. I was fucking horrible, but I wasn't shit. I mean, I know my name. My name, when I first started under the Aussie Ardealers, and I was a centre forward, I was never a centre forward, never. I signed for Newcastle as an attacking midfield player, and so did Nash. Nash was one of these number 10s, but the 2 of us got pushed up. That's Lee Clark, Nash, and I just got shoved up front. But in all fairness, I was wearing the number 9. I'm from Sunderland. I'm here,
bad start.
I'm here off the bat. And my name, I shit you not, for the first 6-8 months, was not Steve Howe, it was fucking useless Mackin bastard.
Ray Thompson couldn't fit that on the shirt though.
It costs so much. Or whatever the fucking is to talk about, fucking thing, I was fucking useless Mackin bastard. That was it, fucking harsh. But do you know what, in all fairness, I mean, yes, I'm from Sunderland, and I'm always believing that you should always support your hometown team. I really am. But I had such an affinity with Newcastle. I signed for Newcastle when I was 13-year-old. I had such a love for that club. And it was hurtful to be like, Mackin this, Mackin that, all the other wankers. Fucking But it was amazing when I fucking turned it around because of these boys and the manager.
Just before we move on, there's a story out your door, and I want to mention it to you so that you can tell it tonight. I mean, Ozzy's looked upon with great affection because he was Ozzy, and you know, he sang the little song when Tottenham went to Wembley, remember? His little song. And up here he supported the kids, and he was such a gentleman, making breakfast for the bloke that had just sacked him at Newcastle. When he was coaching, he used to do something called shadow play, didn't he? Come on, there's somebody in this room that won't have heard the story. But I know where you're coming from. Come on, tell the story.
No, I'm not going to tell the story, but in all fairness, Ozzy was one of these where he was like he would walk on a pitch and he would go, just like there was Tony Galvin, remember Tony Galvin?
Yeah, yes.
And he'd go, Obly, Beardsley. That's all you could get from Ozzy. But in all fairness, when we talk about the story, yes, it was one of them. The boys want to kind of, go on.
As good as say, the boys have got a version.
I'm the brunt of that story, obviously. I scored one goal against nobody. No position is
what Steve's trying to say. Halfway through the question, I realised the punchline.
It's what he's getting at. It's what he's getting. I do deny that, but I will say I was capable of that. I definitely was capable of that on any given day, I guess I'll tell you. I've done something ludicrous, but I couldn't remember that. I can't remember that.
Hold on a second. This is from a person, by the way, and I absolutely totally respect what he's saying. This is from a person that I'm with Waterstones. I've known each other about 40 years, easily. And we're training, and all of a sudden he picks up a ball and he does a fucking somersault and throws it in from the touchline. What chance he got?
Yeah, well, exactly. No, but what I want to know is, having kicked off, what the hell is the goalkeeper doing in the back of his net? Putting his cap down, like, I mean, for fuck's sake, is there any chance of facing the right way and doing his job, like, you know? But,
here lies the problem, I think.
well, yes, yeah. I mean, that was bad enough, but when he did it during the match, that was a fucking piss off, like, job. No. Just talking quickly before we move on, KK comes, he transforms the club, he buys, I mean, my recollection, Steve, he bought in, I mean, Bez was involved in this, he seemed to buy every month, and whoever he bought was a club record fee. It got higher and it got higher until they ended up with Shiva, the world record fee. What, as a local boy, you and Lee Clark, how did you look at that? Did you look at that and say, that's terrific because we are going to be some side very, very quickly, or did you look at it and think, Jesus, we'll be buying for my position next?
There's two ways you can look at it, and both are absolutely valid. One of them is, this is amazing for this football club, because this is where it deserves to be. And the other one is, I want to be part of it.
Yeah.
I have to be good enough to be part of it. We signed players at Newcastle when Kevin was manager, and we used to have these five-a-sides. And the five-a-sides was such a high quality that you could not, if you weren't good enough, you weren't good enough. So we signed players like Dan Huggleby. Now, I played with Hooks at Man City later on. Hooks was a very good player. Look what he did at Coventry. Very, very good. We had Jason Drysdale, we had Steve Guppy. Gups went on and did brilliant.
Yeah.
Jason Drysdale never fucking surfaced again, in all fairness, couldn't go. But we used to have, like, we used to bring the new signings in and go, deal with that, deal with this, because we're going to wrap it into you. So we had, like, I think it's Bez. Bez tells the story absolutely brilliantly. I'm going to pass it on to you about David Janone and Scott Sellers.
You want that? Oh, okay.
Is
it, yeah?
I thought it was a bedroom one.
Oh, no, it's...
Is there any danger you're fucking telling it?
Do you want me to tell
I just
If you want, you can text it if you want.
Gibbo, in fairness.
I thought I went
The match down next to Field, so make them speak, because you know what's going to happen now.
He's going to take
You know
over.
what's going to happen now.
Which one on? Pedro or fucking Ginola?
Tell them all.
David and Pedro.
Now, the thing is, it's like when you sign new players, you're not really sure what you're getting, right? So the one thing that we have at Newcastle is you test people out. And anyhow, so if it's a new signing, especially if it's a foreigner, you're going to test him. What that means is Keegan will come out and he'd start an 8-a-side game, nice and fucking, it's tight. And he said, but this happened. Ginola fucking Irishman. Ginola signs for us. We don't know. It's not like it is now. It's plastered everywhere. We hear it's a Frenchman fucking signing from PSG. Blah, blah. Anyway, it's big black Range Rover pulls up at Maiden Castle. He gets that. His fucking head blowing in the wind. He's 6 foot Adonis. Fucking.
I've looked him, to be quite honest. Fucking all day long. He was fucking gorgeous. You've got a laugh all over your face, no fucking problem.
You know what?
I loved it.
Yeah, you know what? I'll wait for his missus to get out. She was fucking loud, by the way. Anyhow, did I say that? Sorry, I was thinking it. Right, anyhow, he comes in and all lads are going, what we fucking got here? And honestly, it's beautiful. Oh, it's so we go out, he does the press, he comes out, fucking, anyhow, what Keegan does, he'll throw the ball up to somebody and go play. Whoever it drops at, you just whoever it drops at, you smash it as hard as you can at the new signing. So he bounces off him, So it bounces off him, and then lads will go, fucking hell, Gaffer, he's shit, look at him, he's touch, crap, you know, test his character. Anyhow, I remember the sun was fucking shining, he's got big on all his fucking legs, his eyes are fucking glinting. And I'm like, anyhow, Gaffer throws up, and he's fucking, and I tell you what, it was David Batty, back's good, on half volley. Fuck off, have that. 100 mile an hour. It hits it waist high. Do you know the goes? Done. Tell you. People go, whoa, whoa. He now fucking, he's gliding. He's fucking right foot, left foot. Fucking hell, he's strong, he's quick. Now the lad who played in front of me at that time was Scott Sellers. What a player, by the way. Silky skills, great understanding. But the thing of it is, and this is where the fucking Scott chucked past me and went, well, I'm fucking screwed. Lads know, players know, fucking, anyhow, this game's going on, and anyhow, and the gaffer, he cuts the game short, right? And we're walking in, my roomie was my mate's Rob Lee, so fucking I've gone to Rob Lee, I've gone, fucking hell. Fucking good is he? Fucking, what is it? How much did you pay for him? What was it, 2.5, 3.5? I don't know. Anyhow, but he's a buzz. He's a buzz around the place. Anyhow, fucking hell. I go into the change room, Newcastle. Anyhow, get stripped off, goes into the shower. I'm fucking just getting showered off. Anyhow, just looked over my shoulder. Fucking Janola's there. Well, you know that saying, you can't have it all. Didn't half make me fucking smile. Just say it. But is a fucking big butt here. We then signed Les Ferdinand. I'm still having therapy.
So am I.
But the latter job, he was fucking unbelievable. What a fucking player. On another level. Lazy shite, but he was fucking...
I was going to say, taking the lazy shite bit, I mean, there was a rumour when you signed for us you were 8'6" and you ended up 3'6" because you were having to run about because he doesn't track back.
Yeah, I know, there was people said like you must get frustrated, blah, blah. Yeah, there'd be certain games if you're away at Anfield, Old Trafford and everything else. You know, I knew what was going to happen. David, he's going to stand up front, he's going to look fucking beautiful, and he's going to fucking play. It's up to me to slow the, you get tuned up now and again, but it's up to me, once I get the ball. The only thing which I probably had a little bit of a fallout with David was when he didn't produce. Because if you're fucking giving it a lazy one, then you've got to create. And I knew what I was, I'm calling it a water carrier or whatever. I have got to get the ball to him at the right place at the right time. And do you know what? 9 times out of 10, I would have a fucking easy day because they double up on him. It's just when they flip it the other way, I'm getting no fucking protection. But it doesn't, honestly, you know what? The fucking thing is, right? He was at a game about, which game? I think it was before the second last game of the season at Newcastle. And he came out and he still looks good, fucking knobhead. And he was like, he walked in and he went, Bears, and he gave me a fucking hug and I just went out. The thing of it is, he had a fucking heart attack. I should have had the fucking heart attack. How the fuck did he get away with that? But he is, and it's one of them, we've got just brilliant members. So he was genius.
I mean, when you look back on the entertainers, we had so many fabulous players as the years went on, because it started off with Killer Klein, who was absolutely necessary to the cause and went all the way on to Shearer's world record feat. When you look back at those now, when you look at Rob Lee, who was a pal, and you look at this guy, and you look at Tino, and who do you rate the exceptional guys that were bought, apart from Watto and Steve Howie, of course, apart from them?
Well, we weren't built, we weren't bought, were we?
No, exactly.
I think when you look at Festina Spria, fucking absolute space cadet, by the way. Philippe, David, Les, you know, yeah, of course we got Al, but I think what actually made that team what made that team, and it's not bigging me and him up, was me, him, Lee Clark,
The local kid.
Rob Elliott. We made them realise what it was to actually play for the country. I know I get criticised and all this kind of thing about, oh, football, knock 'em. I loved playing for Newcastle. A beautiful club, amazing fans. And what we did, the very first thing that we, any signing, what will back me up on this, 100%. The very first thing that we did was the very first opportunity that we got to take the new signing out. We took them out. We took them to Uno's. We took them to the Quayside. They all got divorced.
Yes.
At the same time, they realised it's not like it is now. Now, training grounds and all that kind of thing. You look at what we were. Maiden Castle. We had 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people watching us in Maiden Castle. Pitch side.
Yeah.
That's not like it is. At the ground, you used to get out of the car and walk into the grounds. Now they drive the cars into the grounds and drive out and don't have any kind of really association with the fans. We did, and we made sure they got it. And in all fairness, like anybody, whether we're foreign or whether we're from down south or whatever, in all fairness, they absolutely got it, didn't they? And that's why they loved the club, and that's why you had, and in all fairness, we kind of, if I see Les or I see David or see Philly, it's like seeing a lost brother. You know, just like an amazing connection that I don't think you get now. I really don't.
He's right. Anyway, the local lads, they bring support, they bring you lot into the change room, because you know he cares. But you're talking about players and he's mentioned them, but I only got the fucking best. Beardsley. Best. I really was. And I looked at the little thing is, I remember we signed him, and Keegan had said to me when I joined the club, once we get the Premier League, sign the best. Anyhow, I remember Peter Beardsley, 31 years of age, blah, blah. We're playing Hartlepool, his first game, Hartlepool, Brian Honor kid, it was his testimonial, fucking shit, whatever. I'm like, fucking Beardsley, I've seen him for Liverpool, seen him forever, seen him for Africa, fucking want to see what it's like, see what he's like. Anyhow, and I'm like left back, and ball, game kicks off, ball just drops to it, with his laces, fucking sweet as, he pings it, laces it. But it's in front of me, but it's about 15 yards in front. He goes straight out of play. I've just fucking looked. I thought, he's just finding his range, Anyhow, game's going on. Bang, bang. Next minute, fucking drops to me again. Bang! Hits it out. He went straight in front of me again, straight out of play. I thought, he's fucking shit. Honestly, I'm thinking his legs have gone. Fucking, you know what I mean? You know, he's like, you know, he's getting a bit old and all that. Then I trained with him for about 2 weeks and realised I should have been fucking further forward. And he does, and I tell you what, he don't fucking bollock you. He just ignores you. It's up to you to fucking get on his wavelength.
It's like when your mum's disappointed in you, isn't it?
Yeah, he
He just gives you that look. Inferiority complex there.
Steve was talking about the local lads and keeping the feet on the ground and letting the players that were bought know what Newcastle United meant. And Peter Beardsley, it was both of those. He was a local lad that was brought back, having played with KK together. How do you rate him and what's your memories of Peter Beardsley?
I can remember one occasion we played Middlesbrough, and Middlesbrough playing at Ayresome Park, and they had a player playing for them called Jamie Pollock, and we were warming up, and I think Middlesbrough were ahead of us at that particular time, a different league or something, but we were flying. And Jimmy Pollock was shouting across the Peter, and he was going, "Hey, Beardsley! What the fuck do you? Peter was like, "Well, no, you know, fuck So we're like, fucking hell. was like, so anyway, we're in the tunnel. Beardsley, fucking do you? Pedro's fucking captain. Like, oh, fucking thing, though, So anyway, Peter's too clever, and the ball's coming to him. He's like, bang, bang, bang. It's away from him all the time. It's not a problem. Anyway, Pollock's just had enough. Peter's played this ball. It's a great ball. Pollock's just like 3 or 4 seconds. So late. Called Peter. We're like, fucking hell. Peter, I've fucking got this, boy, you know, I've fucking got this, you know, we've fucking got it. Peter's got a Peter Beardsley shuffle. You know, he does that. You know what's coming. Fuck, I didn't do about it. How the fuck's he getting through 3 players with that? Just fucking running through them. They're at Tottenham and all that kind of thing. Anyway, the ball comes to Pedro, and he's gone. Pollock's gone. Flew past him. Made him look like a right CUNT. Everybody's fucking pissed themselves laughing. So Pollock's like one of these, he's jumped up and he's run up to Peter, and Peter, quick as a flash, went, fucking hell, you're ugly. Peter Beardsley tells me you're fucking ugly. I was working with him last night, Paul Bailey was fucking funny, honestly.
He's at the bar now, actually. The thing, I mean, when you came here, it's well known you should have been in Liverpool, you weren't, because the medical situation, you come to Newcastle. But one of the things that sums up KK for me is not only did he develop players magnificently, and I like to think that Eddie Howe does that now with individuals. When you look at Jacob Murphy and what he's done for Joe Linton and scores of other players, his promise when you meet him, the promise the way he sells the club to you is absolutely no holds barred, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Kevin has one way, but his man management is just he's ridiculous. I failed the medical at Liverpool and came out. I was devastated. You know, I'm thinking no one's going to touch me. I phoned Jim Smith, my manager at Portsmouth. He just went, "Don't worry, Bez." He says, "You haven't got any problems." I went, "What?" He says, "Kevin Keegan watched at Newcastle, and like, no disrespect, you were shit. You were really poor." Like, say,
well, it's you now, isn't it?
Yeah. You were, and you were getting relegated. Then Keegan took over, anyhow, and then so this is how it goes.
You've got a big shovel.
I don't mind, because the thing of it is, I remember, and no mobile phones. Jim Smith goes, he went, "Bez, just ring him." You gotta remember, Kevin Keegan was my boyhood hero. Fuck it, right, I'll ring. I ring him up, and he's gone. He got, you know, it gets weird. He goes, "Hello?" I've gone, "Hello." He went, "Who's this?" I was at Birch Service M62. He goes, "Who is it?" I went, "It's John Beresford." He went, "Thank you so much, John. Get yourself up here, come and sign for me." And I went, whoa. I said, "Do you realise this what's happened?" And he went, "No." He went, "What's happened?" I said, "I've just failed medical at Liverpool." He starts laughing. He says, "Don't worry." He says, I've just signed Paul Bracewell, you piss hours." He goes, "Where are you?" I said, I'm at M62. Fucking, you're looking so different now in fucking private jets. I said, "I'm at M62. He says, better service, mate. He says, "Do you know where Gosford Park Hotel is?" I went, "Not a fucking clue." He says, "A1, can't miss it, get off when he sees horse racing." Right? Me and my dad, I didn't have an agent, me and my dad drive in. I pull into Gosford Park Hotel. Kevin Keegan and Terry McDermott come out. I'm going, "Dad, honestly, I fucking loved him out." Go into the reception area, Gosford Park Hotel. He went, "Sit down, son." I went, "Yeah. No. He says, "You don't realise what's happening today." Yeah, I'm going, yeah. My head's fucking gone. And he says, "You're going to sign for me today. You're going to get promoted this year." He says, "We're getting Europe next year. I get you in English squad." I'm thinking, he's on fucking drugs. But when you meet Kevin, he's infused and his aura, he's unbelievable. Anyhow, I remember did the medical, pissed it. And then, this is where, honestly, so I jump in the car with my dad. It's now a long drive back down to my house in Sheffield, where my mum and dad live, because my missus is waiting for me. And then, mum and dad got a little little cul-de-sac. I pull up in the car, and my missus comes running out, and she's going, John. What's Liverpool like? I went, I'm a fucking Newcastle. This is why it's brilliant, because she only lasted a year. Thank you, Keyside.
Because of... Tell it the way it is,
But we did get promoted, we did get in Europe, and the England squad, fucking brilliant.
Yeah, you did get an English squad. Turkey, wasn't it? Turkey. With Gaza?
Yeah, with Gaza.
With Gaza, which is a tale that would have to order bacon and eggs, breakfast and stay in the hotel. We tell that story because it go on all night. The interesting thing at Newcastle as well, I know Steve played for England, but you got into the England squad. People would probably forget, of course you got caps elsewhere on the 21s, but you got an England squad, didn't you? And got an injury inevitably. It was after KK, but you got an England squad.
Yeah, no, it was probably under Kenny.
Yeah.
I got in there probably, funny enough, as a centre half. I played everywhere, hadn't I? I played every outfield position. For Newcastle, I was up front one day, I was left back the next day, I was right back the next day. I was his perfect sub, really, as he told me a couple of times. But I think my best games for Newcastle was when I started maturing a little bit. Bez will probably laugh at that. But
you did mature. You did mature. Did you mature, Bez?
Oh yeah.
To a degree. So no, but I mean, did centre half against Barcelona at St James. Like lifelong memories. Did centre half at Highbury against Wright and Bergkamp, and they were probably the best performances. I think that's what I got in the England squad. I was a decent right back, but couldn't get beyond the two Man U lads, the two Nevilles. Couldn't get there. The time I was closest was remember when we did that debacle against Stevenage.
Yes.
We went down there and they got a replay. I was down there. We'll meet up with England that night. I think Boy might be in the squad, Bats was in the squad, Rob Lee was in the squad, Alan was in the squad, and I was in the squad. And Gary Neville was injured, and I thought, right, this is
me.
Got to be my chance. Anyway, gone down the right wing, tried to smash across, kicked some of these studs, and before it was fashionable, I broke my metatarsal. But I just remember I was...
You started the
before, yeah, but I mean, I'm no Beck, so you know what I mean? So nobody give a fuck. So I just remember I had a hole in the top of my World Cups, and Derek was treating us at the side, and he says, you're fucked. I said, I can't, man, I'm meeting up with England tonight. So try to get back on the pitch. I remember standing on the pitch, just hearing a big crunch, and like a fucking geezer, the blood was coming out of my group.
Just flying out.
And I just thought, fuck me, what chance have I got? So didn't get an England cap. Got in the squad a couple of times, centre half. But I'm not that bothered. Obviously, I love an England cap in my name. But
sure.
Obviously, you know what bothers us most. Not having a fucking Premier League medal. So like England, England,
yeah.
Go like that's my big regret.
Just touching on what, and we'll come to the obvious 12-point situation, but talking about England, and you touched on it there when you said I was probably the perfect sub, because in those days, of course, you didn't have as 9 subs and 6 and be able to get on. It was much more restricted. Do you feel being so versatile, it can make your career at club level, it can hold you back at international level, because the international manager says, is he a right back, is he a centre half, is he a defensive midfield player, is he an attacking midfield player, in dancing. I remember that was the argument with Paul Madeley when he played for England. He said he would have got 3 times the number of caps if he'd had a particular position.
You know what, the truth is, we'll probably never know. I did the same. I went down to Villa for a couple of years after Newcastle, but it was, I don't know, it was completely, like, it was the wrong move for us at the time. I remember making this really rash decision after having 5 minutes in office with Ruud Gullit, which was 5 minutes too long. And, and I made a decision, and it wasn't until I got back to Everton, and you know, I got back amongst the club in the north of England where I felt like myself again. But the same thing happened at Everton. You know, Moyes plays centre forward every now and again. He plays 3 months right midfield. Probably had the best time of my life, as in goal scoring, scored goals. And then I remember a lad that you might remember. I remember every time there was a difficult game, the young lad who was at Newcastle called Alessandro Pistoni, who was at Everton at the time with us.
So I'm trying to forget about you brought it up.
No, I just remember near the end of the Everton career, Moyes came up with us and he said, look, we'll play Man U on Tuesday. Alessandro's feeling his hamstring. I'm like, oh, fucking what a shock. So I played like 3 months right midfield, basically right wing at 4-4-2. And he says, can you play left back? No, that wouldn't happen in modern day football.
No.
You got 3 players for every position. But I remember playing there. I remember playing against Ronaldo, who was right wing for Man U at the time. And I remember we won 1-0. And then I remember the next game, kept the same team, apart from he put Pistoni back in. So that was the end of the Everton career.
I mean, if Pistoni fucked you, you obviously fucked Ronaldo when you played against him, because he's never done anything since, did he, Ronaldo?
I lost track of him after that.
Desperate.
I mean, his contract's shit
lost
at the
track of
moment. Awful. I would always say, do you know what, I'll be genuinely honest about this. I thought Warner was a brilliant player. And I think the unfortunate thing is, do you know when somebody gets classed as Jack of all trades, master of none?
Yeah.
That was unfortunate because anywhere he played, he did a brilliant job. I can remember one of the best goals I've ever seen. Liverpool away, when we played away. Remember that goal when you dinked over Dale James? Fucking incredible. He was a bloody player back then. He was a player.
You know that thing about, honestly, that thing about that game also, that was one of the games where I was sub-keeper.
The only position you've never played.
So honestly, 10 minutes before I went on for Les with his head injury, Shaq had gone down in front of the cop. So I was about 10 minutes earlier, I was going on and go in front of the cop.
But by the way, Walter, that
You redeemed yourself.
that tenner you gave Steve at the back before we come on.
I don't know where that came from.
It's been worthwhile, mate.
He's never said a nice word for 40 years.
It should have been 20. Well, I was fucking staggered. I've been sitting next to him for ages, and that's the loveliest thing he's ever said about you. Normally it's about your own goal in the fucking Aussie games.
I have got amazing things to see about the people that I work with, and when we do these things, you know, when you meet up with the people that you shared such amazing, sometimes not great times, sometimes brilliant times.
Yeah.
The connection that you have with that person through the years is, it's a friendship that is impossible to break. It's a friendship that is just so knitted together. They're like brothers. To me, they're like brothers.
Yeah.
He might call me a CUNT, but they're like brothers to me.
Yeah, that's a very, very good point. And I think that summed up the entertainers for me, being quite serious. It sounds corny, but they were bad brothers. We've got to go back to the point that Watto made just before when he said that, you know, the biggest minus, if there was for him in Newcastle, wasn't getting an England cap, although he would have loved, obviously, wouldn't everybody in England cap, but it was not getting a Premier League title. 2 successive seasons, we were so close to that. And I mean, at the time, as a Geordie, I'm still proud of that to this day, because Newcastle United, 2 successive seasons, finished Premier League runners-up, which is our best finish since the last won the title, which is 1927, which is virtually 100 years ago. couple of years' time, it's 100 years ago. And that is still, for me, a platform that Eddie's got to aim for. Yes, he's won his first competition, 70 years, isn't that fabulous? But we'll finish 4th and 5th. Let's beat finishing 2nd. And by the way, and don't we want that, because if we beat finishing 2nd, we'll win the fucking title. So we definitely want that. But how much, when you look back, how much pride is there in, I'm talking about the first season, because that was our real season when we were really going to win the title. The second season we did terrific. Keegan left halfway through it. We still finished 2nd, but we never looked like we were going to win the title. We did the first time. How much of a disappointment at the time, and how much now that's settled down, is there pride in what was achieved that season?
It's not settled down yet, John.
No. And because we led the league from the beginning of this season until about mid-March. We led the league, so we were home and hosed almost.
Yeah, but if you actually look back in history now, don't get me wrong, we're fucking devastated. And I mean, it fucking hurts. Even every time I hear it, it hurts. And you know, like I say, I look back and you think, what could he have changed? Kevin's always going to, the gaffer's going to be him. He's not going to change. Attack, that's where he's going to play. So you have to fucking go with that. You know, as much as we can say different things. Different thing is what happened, and it's happened previously, it happened to Arsenal a few years ago. What happens is, because we were so good, that becomes a problem, because fucking Sky want us on the TV every fucking time. So then what happens is, from when you're playing, football is like a routine. You train Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, have a potato, build it up, get to Saturday 3 o'clock. Love it, it's fucking great, everything's set up. All of a sudden, Sunday 4 o'clock, Monday fucking 8 o'clock. And what that is, because everybody wants to see it. That your routine goes, but you're also now playing after Man United played on a Saturday. So then that puts added pressure on. And it's happened in 2 or 3, maybe 4 title races previously, since we lost it. We were absolutely gutted. But I can accept it and I can deal with it. Just what I can't deal with, and he's the greatest guy I've ever played under, I can't accept Kevin walking out. I can't. He was.
Kevin Keegan the following season.
We had a fucking group of players that if he said, right, this morning, what we're going to do, strip naked, jump off fucking Tyne Bridge, we'd do it. We would do it. He made promises to, you know, fucking, like, Shearer's going to come in, Dabby, he had an opportunity.
Stop Ginola going to Barcelona.
So why the fuck is he walking out?
We were there.
And then, if he'd have stayed for another couple of years, I'm telling you now we would have won it. I'm telling you.
No, we wouldn't have won it once. We would have won it twice or 3 times.
And don't get me wrong, I love him to death. And he always just does beds. You don't know what's going on with the club. You know, the fallout with the fucking, you know, the club was coming private. And I don't want to go down this shit, right? Because but it is part of the fucking history of this football club. He got it wrong. He made a massive mistake by walking out. The thing of it is, so I can deal with coming second against Man United. They were fucking brilliant. I still fucking hate Canton, not a French kid. but you just got. They were brilliant. You know, you got to remember. Everybody goes us. Sometimes you have to take the thing. So it's one of them situations that I go.
I think if you look, I think if you look at Man United in the last 14 games, I think there were 13, and I think the one, and Schmeichel was pulling saves out of his arse. I mean, look at the 1-0 that we got beat.
Did that again.
It was ridiculous.
And
then we beat them 5-0 the following year. I played with Peter at Man City, and one of the very first times that Schmeichel got into the dressing room, please Michael, Schmeichel, got in the dressing room, I was always a late leaver, because I always did little bits and pieces to like at that particular time. So I keep up the shower.
It's not what you think. It's not what you think. Just because he was in love with David
Apart from the
Ginola,
drinking
it's not
and
what
the
you're
shagging, I did other things.
This is purely professional.
That's why you wanted the camera switched off.
Shut the fuck up, you. You just carry on with your fucking play. Anyhow, it's not fucking participation, you know. So I'm sitting in the dressing room, and there's just I've got my towel around me, and Peter Michael's just on the far side of the dressing room, and he went, "Do you want to talk about?" And I went, "Talk about what?" And I knew what he wanted to talk about, and he went, "Them 2 games." I went, "No, you can fuck off." He went, "Come on, let's talk about it." I went, "No." And Peter Schmeichel actually said, "Do you know what? In all fairness, the first game which they beat us 1-0, this fucker didn't track back." Can't know.
Well, there were 3 men that you didn't track by the way.
Well, there was 5.
I didn't realise Cantona was a fucking right winger.
He turned around and he went, "That should have been the score, the 5-0 score should have been the score." Because if you look at, Les had a couple of one-on-ones and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's fucking Leslie's fault, shite.
Believe it at the bar, didn't he?
Smikes turned around and he said it was one of them games where you could have had 1,000 shots. I just was going to save, I was going to make me body shape and all that kind of thing. He said obviously the second one. He said we sat in the dressing room afterwards and we looked at each other and went, how the fuck have we just not only drawn it or got away with it, won. And that was a big turning point, because we went to Blackburn, we went to Nottingham Forest, and that they were big killers. But at the same time, you have to give credit to Manchester United in all fairness, because they went 14 games, 13 than 1.
They need to create this shit now.
Fucking love it.
Hey, it's fucking wonderful.
In all fairness,
Wonderful.
John, in all fairness, whilst it is to the detriment of us, slightly, you have to take your hats off to them, because honestly, fucking hell.
I'm not taking this fucking hat off to them.
13 wins and 14 games.
Oh, that
deserve to win it.
I mean, the interesting thing, fans looking back, some fans were too young, they weren't there, some fans were there, etc., etc. But when we're streets ahead and then we get caught, everybody tries to say why, and then it comes down to individuals, and some people try to stick the blame on Tino coming late, other people try to stick the blame on David Batty.
More important for me.
Yeah.
Oh, the social person.
Couldn't stop that cross.
The person that comes on social media, come on in too. Fuck about Newcastle and all fairness, just a lot of clicks.
Some people also say about Batty and Lee Clark changing. What's your feelings, Steve?
There was a big thing, in all fairness. I mean, I got injured after the Liverpool game, so Peasy and Philippe were changed. Nash, Lee Clark, he came out, Bats
went in.
Came in. Bats, brilliant player by the way. Absolutely no kind of anything against Bats. We had Tino as well. We had Keith Gillespie. Peter would start playing on the right hand side to focus on Tino. It's not the players. I would never ever blame Tino Asprilla, David Batty, or anybody. In all fairness, it was just a simple fact of, I think, ultimately we were probably the best team ever never to win the Premier League.
You know that thing really counted as well, and this is me trying to get serious again. Yeah, they had a group of serial winners.
And we were used to that.
Now it was really new to us.
Yes.
And it was really new to Kevin. You know, Kevin had won as a player, but he didn't know how to steer a group of lads. I just think that played a part. They knew exactly how they were going to
simple
go about the
things.
last 13 games. We were like, it was almost like too close. You know,
I mean,
we're too excited about doing it.
I'm sorry to cut you up, John, but like simple little things. I mean, we used to go out to the quayside and Uno's and all that kind of thing, and all that type of stuff, and you know, Julie's and all that. Anyway, stop, all that kind of stuff. And I'm not sort of saying it, but that was our time. That was us being together. And he stopped it. Can't speak to the press. Can't do anything. And then we're sitting on the bus, and he's going, "I'd love it if we beat them." And we're going, You can imagine Sir Alex turning around and going, "Fucking got you." Yeah. But you know, it's just naivety. It's just as what I was saying. You know, we didn't have series winners. We had fresh players that just wanted to win the Premier League.
So, I mean, it's not Bat's and it's not Chino's fault, it's fucking Julie's fault. No, I thought she was a lovely girl, I did, honestly. I thought there was nothing wrong with her.
Bez is never ever going to call Julie's, but
It's never Julie's fault.
It's never Julie's.
John, we wouldn't have been in the top 6 if it wasn't for her, man.
Absolutely no chance.
Right, in fact, before we finish, I've got to ask you a question.
Hold on a second, I was going to ask one question. But
Go on,
I'm
mate.
going to ask one question, just because of the Julie's thing. At Newcastle, this is a prime example of that's right. Are you divorced now?
Yeah.
Are you divorced now? Yeah, so am I. There you go.
That invisibility corner.
And I wouldn't care if we'd won the fucking title. What's the point? I know what the point was, and I'm not saying.
We'd have lost the medal anyway in the divorce.
I've got to ask the question, really for my own sake, because I'm so interested in it, but fans might feel the same way. There's great talk about the current Newcastle side aspiring to be the entertainers, and certainly there's a link in as much as Eddie loves KK, the way that KK entertained, the way he managed front foot, the sort of quality players that the entertainers had, and what they achieved coming from the brink of the third division to Premier League runners up twice. Do you think that the potential within that club at the moment is going in the right direction, where they can become the entertainers and go that second job and go beyond that?
I can say one thing. There'll never be another entertainers. Never. But they've got the destiny to do whatever they can. And I tell you what, they've got the best chance to do brilliant things.
You know what? I think there's one big similarity with what I can see. It's a different culture. It's a different era. You know, it's everything's changed in football regarding like lifestyle and how we used to enjoy our free time. How the lads now enjoy their free time. But what I would say is what I can see from and being in and around the club, they've got an unbelievably strong dressing room, and that's exactly what we had. They will run through brick walls for each other as well. So I think Eddie's got that culture spot on. They're a different type of team. They're really regimented. You know, if you heard Big Dan's interview, it was fascinating the other week about how many patterns of play. They know exactly where they're all going to be when the ball goes to the left side centre half or the left back. They know exactly where it's going to go from then on. We were very much off the cuff, but as I say, the similarities are there. As in, he's got a really, really strong dressing room. He's a really good leader. But as I say, the cultural side of it's completely different. I was at the academy last year, and Big Dan's doing his coaching badges. It was a Wednesday night, 8 o'clock on a Wednesday night, and Dan was going through one of his UEFA badges. He was taking the under 14s. I was on the other half of the pitch. Bear in mind, I coached Dan when he was at Birmingham on loan. Great coach. He's everything you'd think he was as a kid, just fantastic. But he was taking that, and 7 of the lads had came just to watch him coach. So Sean was there, Tonali was there, Fabian was there, John Ruddy was there. There was 6, 7 of the lads just backing him up, watching him coach. I can't say we'd have been the same on a Wednesday night, but no, as I said, culturally it's changed, but I just think they've got a massively strong bond as well.
Wednesday was legends.
It was. I know exactly what Wednesday was.
It was legends.
But I just think, it's amazing. I thought it was amazing. You know, I was watching. They came in and they were listening to what like the academy staff were saying and all that. And I just think like they've got a bond like we have, different kind of bond, but a really strong bond.
Yeah, and I think one of the comparisons that we can make is that Eddie's different to KK, like he's a
No, but he
coach
gets it.
and he thinks
gets
about
it.
it.
He knows what it's about.
And KK
with you lot,
off the cup.
And he does his own work. He knows what this place is about, and he knows what kind of football you want. It's high intensity. It's never a better time to be a fucking Newcastle fan. Sorry, unbelievable. And it is. It will get better. Don't get me wrong. Like you said, we all have every fucking, with this player, that player, and everything else. For me, it's great. I'm lucky enough to work for the club. I do all the home games and everything else. What I do like about the modern game, can he still keep playing from the back because it's fucking rubbish. Honestly, they're playing into our hands. They are absolutely playing into our hands because this is me. I'm an old dinosaur. Please take this in the spirit that it's meant. I want Newcastle to move on to the bigger and better things. We are there now. I've just got a funny feeling. I just think we're just waiting for this fucking shitty PSR crap that doesn't make any. And fingers crossed, then we can maybe then go to the next step. Because no, don't get me wrong. I think we sit just 4th, 5th. We are. We're behind. So we don't kid ourselves, but fucking hell, it's brilliant, isn't it? Please tell me you get the same fucking things I get.
300,000 people are coming to see us bring the cup back after the years we had with Ashley when we could have stood in the telephone chaos when we would have been by ourselves. It's absolutely fabulous. I'm loving it. I'm certain that we are going to the next level. Please God, let's sign somebody in July, not one, let's sign 4. We need a deep squad and then we'll be going things. But I believe in it so much, I've cancelled fucking dying. I'm staying around for that.
Oh, yeah, you two can about that. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. Steve Watson, Steve Howie, my pleasure. Say thank you to the entertainers. Ladies and gentlemen, the entertainers. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we need another round of applause, don't we? Because that was fantastic. Thank you guys. Lads, you can't leave the stage yet because we've got this raffle. So, who draws the first prize and who draws the 2 free prizes? Look, straight away. You draw the first prize. First prize is apparently Dan Burns Cup Winners Medal. So I've been told. Strip 176 to 180 on the green. 176 to 180. Redraw. Anybody in the house? 176 to 180. Oh, there we go. Thank you. There you go.
That's what it means. Very good.
That's good.
Can you start to clear that, please?
Congratulations, mate. Well done. Thanks for doing that, Steve. There's the second prize. That's Lee Clark's boots. 5 for Lee Clark's boot. 1-1-1-1-1-5. Oh, there you go, mate. Steve, there you go.
You know what? You know anybody today?
That's it, last one. And the last one.
We got relaxed there.
On the Stevie's special gangster boots. 561 to 565 on the yellow. 561 to 565 on the yellow. Anybody there? Oh, there we go. Congratulations.
I made a big mistake once. And I did it.
That just leaves me to say thank you very much to everyone who's turned out. A big special thank you very much to the lads who put their time together. All for charity. Our compere John Gibson. Our Newcastle United International Steve Howie. The man himself from Sheffield, John Beardsley. Last but not least, the lad from Wars End, Steve Watson. Hope you had a good night. I'm sure we'll do it again sometime. Thank you very much for your time and effort. We'll let you know how much we raised for charity as soon as we can. A lot of camped up because you've been so absolutely fantastically generous. There's still opportunities to buy the book at the back. The Entertainer's book, which I recommend wholeheartedly. There's still a few other things in the back you can get. Thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure. From Mitch, from George, from myself, from Steve, the rest of NUFC Matters. Have a good evening. Thank you. Good night.